I am the invigilator.
The test is simple in comparison.
There is one question before you, and one answer is required.
80 minutes.
Eight candidates prepare for the final stage of a prestigious job selection. Some whisper words of encouragement to themselves in mirrors. Others carefully adjust their appearance before stepping into the exam hall. The room they enter is plain and dimly lit. Identical desks line the floor, each with a single paper turned face down. A surveillance camera peers down silently. One by one, the candidates take their seats. The tension rises when the door opens. A uniformed guard carrying a firearm enters, standing motionless at attention. A man follows him inside, introducing himself only as the invigilator. He congratulates the candidates, explaining that they have passed every stage so far. This exam is the last step before being hired. Then he outlines the rules. Inside this room, no outside laws apply. There are only 3 rules of the exam. They must not spoil their papers, whether intentionally or accidentally. They must not attempt to speak to him or the guard. They must not leave the room for any reason. Breaking a single rule means immediate disqualification. The test will last for 80 minutes. There is only one question on the paper before them, and they must provide an answer. The invigilator asks one final time if anyone has any questions. The room stays silent. He starts the timer, wishes them good luck, and exits with the guard. The candidates flip their papers over. Every sheet is blank. Confusion spreads quickly. One candidate, nervous and uncertain, begins writing on hers, explaining why she deserves the job. The overhead camera immediately detects her mistake. The guard is ordered to remove her. She pleads for another chance, but the guard drags her out and locks the door. The remaining candidates sit in silence, shaken by how quickly she was eliminated. After a pause, one man examines the rules again. He realizes they're only forbidden from speaking to the guard or the invigilator, but not to each other. He shares his discovery, and the group understands they can communicate freely. Believing cooperation is required, they agree to work together. But before long, unease begins to grow. The man suggests that no one reveal their real names. Instead, he assigns nicknames based on appearance. The quiet candidate who hasn't spoken a word becomes deaf. Others are labeled white, black, brown, blonde, brunette, and dark. White tests the boundaries further. He stands up from his desk, knowing the rules never said they had to remain seated. The guard does nothing. The group realizes they can move freely around the room. Dark suggests the question might be hidden and invisible. She holds her paper to the light, searching for marks. Nothing appears. Still, she insists everyone should check their own. Deaf stays motionless, refusing to join. Black proposes ultraviolet or X-ray light might reveal the text. The candidates search for controls in the room and discover strips of emergency lighting, but there are no switches to activate. Blonde suggests triggering an emergency by breaking the overhead bulbs. Brown warns it could be dangerous, but the group votes and decides to proceed. One by one, they shatter the bulbs. The room glows with a blue emergency light. Each candidate inspects their paper closely, but the sheets remain blank. Frustration builds as the clock continues to tick down. Brunette then suggests breaking open the strips themselves. Using the heel of a shoe, she smashes the casing, exposing a new form of light. Again, nothing is revealed. 20 minutes have already passed. White turns his attention to the discarded sheet of the first disqualified candidate. Since she is gone, her paper is free to experiment on. He rubs a pencil across it, hoping to trace hidden marks. Nothing appears. He tears the paper into pieces, handing them out so each person can try their own methods. In desperation, he urinates on one piece, thinking moisture might expose right. Still nothing. The failures spark arguments. Voices rise in frustration. Then Deaf suddenly begins to sob quietly. For the first time, he speaks, muttering in French. He claims the paper reflects their image. The others dismiss his words as nonsense and return to their debate. But small cracks are already forming in the group's fragile trust. Brown speaks up with a theory of his own. He claims this might not be a real exam at all. Instead, he suggests the company's executives are hidden somewhere, gambling on who will crack under pressure. Dark dismisses the idea, saying the executives would never waste their time. But speculation spreads. Some believe the invigilator is behind it. Others suspect the CEO. Accusations turn personal. The group begins to unravel. Brunette cuts through the noise, insisting that no one is watching. She says the CEO himself controls the company directly. Her confidence raises suspicion. Pressed for answers, Brunette admits she already works for the company in human resources. She applied for a higher position, which brought her here. White reveals he was recruited differently, headhunted. The others argue they applied normally. Despite their different paths, none of them truly know what the company does. Finally, Brunette shares what she knows. The corporation is Biorg, a powerful pharmaceutical giant. Years ago, when a pandemic swept across young people worldwide, Biorg created the cure. The company now earns billions each year, all thanks to its elusive CEO. Black adds another piece. He suggests Biorg may have secretly developed a cure for a new virus currently killing millions. The possibility changes the tone in the room. The mention of a new virus makes everyone uneasy. White eyes dark with suspicion and asks if she is infected. Dark denies it and quickly changes the subject. To distract the group, she quietly approaches the guard. Without speaking, she slips a lighter from his pocket. Studying the sprinkler above, she suggests using water to reveal hidden writing. She climbs onto a chair, but cannot reach the alarm. White rolls a sheet of paper into a torch, lights it, and passes it to her. Dark touches the flame to the sensor. The sprinklers activate, drenching the room in their papers. The candidates wait eagerly for words to appear. Nothing changes. Then the guard approaches Dark. She realizes too late that White tricked her. The sheet she burned was her own. She shouts in anger as the guard drags her away. Another candidate is eliminated. Black rounds on White, furious at the betrayal. He threatens to knock his lights out. Suddenly, the room goes dark. The lights react to his words. The candidates realize even their speech can alter the test. When the lights return, Deaf begins to cry again. White crouches in front of him, taunting him mercilessly. Under pressure, Deaf rips his own paper and even swallows the pieces. The guard steps forward and escorts him out. His broken glasses fall to the floor unnoticed. Now only 5 remain: White, Black, Brown, Blonde, and Brunette. Black condemns White's cruelty, but White defends his actions. By forcing others out, he claims they are closer to the real answer. He then insists he already knows what the exam is about, but he refuses to share it. Frustration boils over. Black strikes White with a single punch, knocking him unconscious. Together, the group ties him to a chair and gags him with a strip of fabric. For the moment, White is restrained. Time passes. White regains consciousness, still bound. He struggles against the gag until Brunette loosens it. White pleads for his medication. He claims he carries the same deadly virus that has swept across the world and must take a pill every hour to survive. Black searches his pockets, but finds no pill. The others doubt him. White's pleas grow weaker. His body begins to shake. His breath comes in sharp, uneven bursts. Some believe he is faking, but Black insists the seizure is real. He claims to know because he is infected too. Panic spreads. They search desperately for the missing pill. Time is running out. Brunette accuses Brown. She searches his desk and finds the pill stuck beneath it with chewing gum. She tries to give it to White, but Brown grabs it and throws it into a floor vent. White convulses harder. Brunette faces the camera, begging the invigilator to save it. The moment she speaks, she breaks the rules. The guard enters, seizes her, and drags her away. The group shrinks again. Only Blonde, Black, Brown, and the fading White remain. Blonde acts quickly. Using a bobby pin, she reaches into the vent and carefully retrieves the pill. She presses it into White's mouth, forcing him to swallow. His shaking eases. His breathing steadies. Within moments, he opens his eyes. Blonde unties him, believing he will now tell the truth. The others demand answers. White looks at them calmly. He insists there is no written question. The test is about survival. The company will hire the last person left in the room. His words sink in. Then he suddenly lunges at the guard, trying to seize his gun. Black reacts first, shoving him aside and taking the weapon. He points it at White, but the gun does not fire. White realizes the truth. The weapon is fingerprint locked to the guard. He fights to regain control, then presses the guard's hand onto the trigger. A shot cracks through the room. Now armed, White turns the barrel on the others. He orders them to leave voluntarily, or he will kill them. One by one, the candidates are forced to make their choice. With the gun in his hands, White controls the room. Brown is the first to surrender. Afraid of being shot, he walks to the door and steps outside. The guard closes it behind him. Brown is disqualified. That leaves only Blonde and Black with White. White points the weapon at Blonde. She inches toward the exit, fear written across her face. Just before stepping out, she calls over her shoulder. Lights out. The room plunges into darkness. Chaos erupts. White fires blindly. A single bullet finds its mark. When the lights return, Black lies on the floor, bleeding heavily from his chest. White scans the room. Blonde has not fully left. One of her feet still rests inside the threshold. He raises the gun to finish her. Then silence falls. The timer on the wall stops. Believing he has outlasted them all, White walks confidently to the camera. He declares himself the winner. The guard approaches and shows him the timer. White stares in disbelief. 20 seconds remain. By addressing the invigilator, he has broken the rules. The guard escorts him out, leaving him disqualified at the very end. Now Blonde is the only candidate left in the room. She looks around at the empty desks. Then she notices Def's broken glasses on the floor. Picking them up, she holds a lens over her exam sheet. Through the glass, faint writing appears. Question 1. The realization is immediate. At the beginning, the invigilator asked them all a simple question. Do you have any questions? That was the test. The answer had been waiting all along. The door opens. The invigilator steps inside. Behind him, Def returns, no longer frail, no longer silent. He reveals himself as the CEO of Biord, who had been present in the exam to observe their behavior. Blonde approaches and responds clearly to the hidden question. Her answer is simple. No. The invigilator and the CEO exchange satisfied smiles. She has passed, but the test is not finished yet. The invigilator explains the true purpose of the test. The company sought someone who could pay attention to detail, make hard decisions, and still show compassion. Throughout the ordeal, Blonde displayed all three. He offers her the job immediately, but she hesitates. She points to Black's motionless body and says she cannot work for a company that kills people. The invigilator replies calmly, "Who told you he is dead?" Blonde steps closer. To her shock, the wound in Black's chest is closed. His body is healing before her eyes. The invigilator explains. The bullet that struck Black was no ordinary round. It carried a newly developed drug, a pill capable of rapid cell regeneration. The same breakthrough medicine had saved White earlier during a seizure. Biorg has created a cure unlike anything in the world. A treatment that can heal wounds instantly and potentially cure any disease. The exam was never about cruelty. It was about finding someone who could endure pressure, make the right choices, and still retain humanity. The CEO watches as Blonde absorbs the truth. Finally, she nods. She accepts the role. She extends her hand. The CEO takes it firmly. The exam is over.